Welcome back to CAA Arena. The Sens kick off their three-game week against the Cleveland Monsters. First meeting with Cleveland this season. Time for the pregame with Coach Troy Mann. Coach, how's the week been so far coming off of that win over Rochester on the weekend?
Well, I think anytime you come off a win and you got a couple of practices before your next game, there's going to be a little bit extra energy. And I thought both days, and hopefully that bodes well for tonight. Practices were sharp in terms of what we tried to accomplish, and we reviewed the tape from Saturday, and we certainly addressed some areas of our 5-on-5 game that we think can get better, and we did that Monday and Tuesday, and touched on the power play yesterday, tweaked the lines or the units a little bit with Lodin coming back, so that was important yesterday. So hopefully get a little bit more balance on both power play units, and Lodin certainly can be a game changer on the power play as we've seen in the past, so hopefully that comes to fruition as well.
The mood seems pretty good around the room coming off the win. Given that you're kind of around the 500 mark, is it nice to see that that kind of spirits are still up here early in the season?
Oh, absolutely. When you face as much adversity as we have here in the early going, with some significant pieces missing, you just want to stay in the mix. If you think you're going to run away with the division or get a 10-game win streak going, we're probably kidding ourselves. Obviously, it's something you dream of and maybe hope for on a day-to-day basis. But as a head coach, I've always tried to pride myself and keep myself in what I call reality town. And the reality town of it is you go on a game-to-game basis, and you kind of put the best lineup out there possible and try and win as many games as you can, and that's all we're trying to do at this moment.
You do get Victor Lodin back tonight. First of all, how surprised are you to see him in the lineup already just a few weeks out from that injury? And secondly, how long do you think until he can get back up to speed?
Well, he looks very, very good in practice. He actually has a little bit more quickness to him than in training camp, and we can't forget, even though it feels like it's maybe a year ago, the rookie tournament in Buffalo was an original injury where he unfortunately got hurt there and didn't get to participate in Sens camp. And I don't care what level you're at when you miss training camp, it takes its toll on a player. But he's done a good job off the ice, with Mitch and the rehab there with Belf and Kev. And obviously it was a 6 to 8 week process from the outgo. But he's back in 3 weeks. So either he's a fast healer, or maybe the injury wasn't as significant as originally thought. But nevertheless, it's good to get that type of player back, because you can always use a skill set of his type. And we're hoping that he's going to be able to help us in a number of areas, and he has the talent to do that.
Jacob Larson was recalled to the big club. A significant loss. You said last weekend was his best you've seen him play this season, but that gives Nick Albano another opportunity to keep playing. What have you seen from Albano?
Simplicity, except for maybe his first couple of shifts in Syracuse, which we know is a very difficult building. He's been good. He's getting back to pucks, moves very well, and with the type of defense we have, when you start looking at the left side with Bernie and Heater and Rubens, very similar type of defensemen, big, strong, type of defensemen that are going to be physical for you, or hope that they're going to be physical. And Albano brings a little bit more of a different dimension to the back end, and you want him to move pucks, and I thought he did that. And Belzy managed his ice time very well, but at the same time, he did get play some solid minutes in both those games. So it's a great look for him, right? I mean, that's what it's about as well. When you think about guys going up to the NHL, and Larson and JBD with the Sens, then you got to look at the depth here. And we brought Nick in for a reason. He had signed with our affiliate in ECHL, and we brought 5 different players in from that organization that they had recommended. And the fact that he played 13 games in Springfield last year and 1 in Charlotte certainly gave him a little bit of experience in the American League, and I think he's fit in here nicely with the guys and has built a good relationship with Belzy as well. So we'll see where it goes over the next few weeks, because things change on a day-to-day basis for us. But you know what, it's about opportunity, and he needs to take advantage of it.
And you also get a new face in Brennan Saulnier, acquired yesterday from Laval. What's he going to add at the bottom of the lineup?
Well, I think, when it comes to Saulnier, he was a player that we targeted this summer. When you start thinking about our fourth line last year, specifically in the second half. We had kind of built an identity with Bishop playing with Wedman and Sabrin, and they were able to establish forecheck and change the momentum of games for us. And we look to do that this summer when we're looking at who's going to be returning and Bishop potentially moving on. And so we targeted Saunier, but how that goes in the summer. Players and agents make decisions, and at the time, they felt Laval, Montreal would be a better fit for them, and it didn't work out that way. And so for us, it's a player we're familiar with. Ryan Bonus obviously knows him very well, and coached, or at least scouted against him when he was in Lehigh Valley, and. He's also a Maritimer, so that's never a bad thing as well. So he's going to bring energy. He's going to bring physicality. He's going to get in people's faces. And, we've come to develop that type of reputation here the last couple of years at the bottom of our lineup. And that's where he's going to bring it, and we'll try to get him involved with the penalty kill as time goes on. That'll be very tough tonight since he's not even practiced with us yet. But, I'm sure he's going to be real excited to get back to the American League. He signed a AHL one-way in July to play in the American League, and because of Laval's depth and number of signings, that has not come to fruition for him. So I know he's really pumped, excited to be here. And I think he can provide an identity down at that part of the lineup, and that's what my message to him this morning was: just play to your identity. We've tried to establish identity for each one of our players here, and there shouldn't be any question what his will be.
With Saunier and Lodin coming in, how does it affect the lineup, and how do you see the goaltending plan kind of working out for the week?
Well, I think when it comes to the lineup, we're going to take Luco and Betts out for those two guys, and they've been real good for us in terms of providing that bottom end depth, and whatever, been real good in the locker room as well. But Lodin's obviously a prospect with high end skill that's a top six forward, and Saunier's kind of an identity type of player that we targeted in the summer. So unfortunate for those guys at the time being. Anyway, could be only for one game. We have a game tonight, and the Sens play tonight, so we'll see what happens post game tonight. But for us, that's kind of where things are at with the lineup. And when it comes to the goaltending, I got to say it's a day-to-day thing right now. Bibo will get tonight's start, and hopefully he can build on Saturday's game against Rochester. And haven't really had a chance to get an update on Sogard or Mandolese yet today from Belf, but Mando was able to get through the optional skate and the goalie ice today, so that seems a little bit of a positivity there. But in terms of where he's at to get back in the lineup and or potentially start or even back up, that's to be determined.